Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified Doctor of Naturopathy, Dr. Stephen Cabral, shares with you exactly how you can reverse aging, take back your health, and live a life full of energy and passion, with new 20-minute episodes every single day to keep you healthy and engaged. Now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining me here today on our first Cabral HouseCall of the weekend. I appreciate you as always for tuning in the show. All of your subscribes, your reviews of the show mean the world to me, so thank you so much. If you haven't yet subscribed or reviewed the show, if you could simply do that maybe while tuning in today, that would be much appreciated. So every single weekend, I try to review about a dozen of our community's questions, whether they're wellness-based, they're weight loss, weight gain, anti-aging, longevity, you name it. I do my best to help. So let's dive right into the questions. The first one today is from Lorena. And Lorena says, and again, if you want to follow along today, head on over to stephencabral.com/2738. stephencabral.com/2738 for all the questions. All right. So Lorena says, I love listening to your show. And one of the ones I listened to was on the problem with fermented foods and mentioned some people having issues with detoxifying sulfur due to genetics. I personally seen this with my clients where they get anxiety and foul-smelling gas after consuming anything that is high in sulfur, including glutathione. And no, this is not bacterial or Candida issue because they are individuals that have done the CBO protocol. So what would be your recommendation? Not consuming any cruciferous vegetables or supplements that are sulfur-based? ? Thank you in advance for your reply. Yeah, great question. So here's what I found. And I'll probably do a show just on low sulfur diets and people who are having difficulty with high sulfur-based foods. So one of the things that I found is that over the years, just like you, again, you want to test for Candida overgrowth, you want to test for bacterial overgrowth, because that could be causing the foul-smelling gas, of course. But what I found is that not all sulfur foods affect everyone in the same way. So this was way back in my day when I was doing like GAP-based training, a very, very young practitioner, and probably like the late 2000s, like 2000, let's say 8, 9 or so. And what I realized is that many of the children with autism or people with autoimmune or other issues, maybe psychological based disorders, they couldn't tolerate the whole like garlic, like crushing up a piece of garlic and swallowing that and consuming it, even though it would help with all sorts of different issues. It was too much. Like it was just way too much of a sulfur-based compound. But they could end up taking like garlic extract capsules, or they couldn't do onions, but they could do some cruciferous vegetables. And they could do those cruciferous vegetables if they weren't in their raw form, if they were like baked. And they were even better at absorbing them if they were baked and also with olive oil. So what I found is this, Lorena, is that on a dietary scale, I looked at everybody needs sulfur in their diet because it's how the body helps to detox. But not all the forms packaged in all the same ways seems to work for all the individuals. And oftentimes it is a dosing issue. That's the issue, right? So like for fermented veggies, we always started with a teaspoon. That's all. And if a teaspoon didn't work, believe it or not, we just did like the tip of it and just a little bit of the liquid. Like that's all, like in fermented vegetables. And then you work your way up. And I've done this with histamines. I've done this with a lot of different things, like the raw honey challenge. I talk about my podcast for allergies, so much. So always look at the dosage, right? And then you want to make sure that you're getting in something like your daily nutritional support on a daily basis. Because when there's a methylation issue, it compounds these sulfur detox-based issues. So for myself and other people with maybe some sulfur-based issues, the daily nutritional support, maybe extra activated Bs, the omega-3, what else has been a game changer? Still fixing the gut microbiome, still another big one. And then emptying the rain barrel overall has been tremendously helpful, where many of those people have been able to up their degree to which their body can tolerate sulfur and sulfur-based amino acids. So hopefully that was helpful. All right, Joanna is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. What are your thoughts on food-based prenatal supplements versus normal prenatal supplements containing the methylated forms of nutrients? Would you recommend a food-based prenatal as a suitable source, or best to stick with something such as the daily nutritional support or daily activated multivitamin? I do read that food-based is more bioavailable, but I do wonder if some may require more than this. Many thanks. Okay, so let's put a couple of these things to rest. First and foremost, I believe in a good quality, high quality food, whole food based diet with 7 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. How many people get that? Almost none. Average American eats 1 to 2 fruits and vegetables every day. That's it. That's all right. So end of story. Next, you want to be able to get some grass-fed, let's say meat and, grass finished as well, or maybe pastured chicken, or maybe pastured eggs, and then some wild fish. And, so there's that part to it. And then you want to be able to get some good quality, healthy, all fats, all these things. So absolutely believe in doing all those things. All right, great. Here's the thing though. Food-based nutritional supplements are, for the most part, a misnomer. They really are. So like, for example, we have full spectrum vitamin C, and there's natural citrus-based bioflavonoids, and there's great forms of vitamin C like amla berry and hesperidin, hibiscus, all those things. That counts. But most food-based multis are derived from fungus, which nobody wants to tell you about. Saccharomyces cerevisiae is not a food. It's a fungus. Here's the thing, and I'm going to cut right to the chase. My wife had 2 great, healthy children. I would never in a million years recommend food-based supplement over what we know to scientifically work to help with a healthy, beautiful baby. That's it. Like, I just would never take that chance. I see absolutely no reason to do that. Get your healthy whole food diet. Hopefully it contains everything, and you're just using the supplements as a safeguard. Enough vitamin E, enough vitamin C as a recycler for healthy detoxification on a daily basis, enough methylfolate. I don't know why you would chance not using methylfolate. A food-based vitamin, by the way, is not more bioavailable. Like, not in a million years. A methylated B vitamin is way more bioavailable than regular Bs from food. Like, I just want to share that. And again, I'm whole food first. But when you take in folate from your diet, it needs to be converted to 5-methylfolate before your body can absorb it. 5-methylfolate taken in through your diet is way more bioavailable. So anyway, I have to say that because I speak from an unbiased perspective. I only do what is best for people. I never give advice contrary to that. You can use your favorite functional medicine favorite functional medicine prenatal. You don't have to use ours. And we even share in other companies as well. So it's like, you do what gives you the best possible chance for the best outcome. That's it. And I don't think the food-based vitamin does that. I really don't. I really don't. I can't get behind them for the most part. Again, like over 15 years ago, I used them in my practice, couldn't get the same replicable results, used functional medicine-based forms, way better results. Myself as well. I've been doing this a long time, and I try to only share what I know to work, learn from my mistakes. That's basically it. Okay. Thank you for writing in. Summer's up next. Hi, Doc. My brother has a titanium plate on his collarbone. He's concerned that he's sensitive to titanium and that it could be causing unnecessary stress to his body. He's thinking of having it removed, but he's also not crazy about being bombarded with what comes along with surgical procedures. So is there a way to tell for sure if his body is suffering from the ill effects of a titanium plate? Is there some test to run for titanium? He's done the minerals and metals test and done the heavy metal detox. What should he be looking for as far as side effects? Would it be best to have it removed and then rebuild his gut after surgery? Would like to know for sure before opting for surgery, which is always the last resort. Okay, so couple things now to give you my disclaimer. I'm not here to provide any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, or medical diagnosis for anyone, anytime, ever, for the history of the world. That's it. Okay, so now what I look for is always the root cause. So here's the thing. I'm going to share this in a future podcast. Please, if anyone's ever having surgery, check out the research on fasting before surgery. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So amazing. You can overdo it, but check it out. A couple days before, remarkable. Okay, so next up, and again, it's not for everybody, like I always say. Titanium sensitivity. Believe it or not, most biological dentists will actually run a lab test for zirconium or titanium-based sensitivities. So if you have a biological dentist, you could ask them, could you run this test for me? And usually they can. So definitely check that out. You can find your own biological dentist. There's a website called IAOMT.org. I don't think anybody recommends them more than me. IAOMT.org. You can check them out. Okay. That's that with that. And then, yes, if someone's having surgery, wait till afterwards then to kind of rebuild the gut and do all of that. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful. Sue's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I really hope you can help me out with the following. I have no problems falling asleep around 10 p.m., but I keep waking up at least 4 to 5 times between 3 a.m. and my wake time of 6 a.m. I do try to do everything right. My last meal is at 6, stay off the phone, wear my blue blocking glasses. I don't drink alcohol. My room is cold and dark. I just don't know what to do about it, and you are my last hope. Just to give you some additional details, I'm a 45-year-old female, plant-based, lift weights, walk 6 days a week, regular cycles, do intermittent fasting 6 hours a day. Please let me know if you have any tips or tricks. I would be eternally grateful. Thanks so much for all you do. Happy to help. And I can give you like essentially all the different reasons why you might be waking at 3 to 6 a.m. Okay, so go to bed around 10. Wake up at 3. That means you're waking up 5 hours later. All right, so we have to ask, why are you waking up? Is it low blood sugar? Here's the thing. You can wear a continuous glucose monitor. I'm going to be recommending one. I recommended one yesterday on the show. So check out the company that I recommend. They're the least expensive and best because they are now going to direct to consumer and direct to practitioner. They basically cut out the entire middleman. They send out at cost, essentially, these continuous glucose monitors from a pharmacy for a one-time membership fee that you never pay then again, and then you get your CGMs at cost. This is a true story. I use them myself. Actually, I'm not going to go through it today. It's on yesterday's show, so you can check it out. That was episode 2737. 2737, I go through the company that I use now. All right, and I literally use it myself. Anyway, so that's that with that. You can see if you're dropping into low blood sugar. It's also the time of the morning when thyroid begins to kick up. So we want to look at that. You can run a stress, mood, and metabolism test. I highly recommend that. Another thing is that melatonin can start to be wearing off. Important. So you might want to try a little bit of liquid melatonin before bed. You could definitely give that a shot. I talked about that on yesterday's show as well. Okay, what else? You can start to get a rise too early in cortisol in the morning. That's possible, especially around 4 a.m. this time of the year because the sun is rising earlier. So you want to make sure that you're using blackout shades. Those are some of the main reasons. Make sure you're not waking up because you have to urinate. So you start to eliminate water a little bit before bed. Those are a lot of the main reasons. That is what I would look at. And then we have the sleep help protocol. You can find that at stephencabral.com/shop. You can find the stress, mood, and metabolism test there. You can find the liquid melatonin there. That's where I would start. All right. So hopefully that's helpful. All right, let's see. Let's get in one more question. This one's from Marianne. Marianne says, hello, do you recommend anything for Raynaud syndrome? My brother has severe sleep apnea and Raynaud syndrome. And so far the doctors have done nothing but tell us it's not occurring because he looks so fit and healthy, even though his hands look horrid as if they're always constricted and he can't sleep due to the pain. He eats a very healthy lifestyle and does not eat any gluten. We're feeling a bit frustrated since we've gone all the top institutes in Southern California, including UCSD. Since he visually looks very fit, aside from his hands, all the Western doctors say it's fine and just to prescribe him drugs that have nothing to do. I won't name the drugs, but I totally understand where you're coming from. All right. Marion, let me see if I can help. I've done shows on Raynaud's before. I want you to go to stephencabral.com/podcasts. I want you just to type in Raynaud there, okay? And you'll find my previous shows. So I'm going to give you a little excerpt right now. But when I work with people with Raynaud's, I'm always looking at a vascular constrictive dis-ease of the body. Okay, not medical diagnosis, not medical treatment plans to follow. What I work on is stress. High stress. And that, because what happens is stress constricts the blood vessels and capillaries. We have larger arteries coming from the heart. As they start to get to the feet and the hands, they get narrower and narrower and narrower. And if everything constricts a little bit, well, there's just no space for the blood to flow in the hands. So contrast hot and cold therapy can work with the hands and basically cold and then heat and cold and heat, but that's only like a Band-Aid approach. What I like to work on is looking at the Big 5 labs. That's what I run. stephencabral.com/Big5. BIG, the number 5. That's what I do. Now, if you can't do that, I like to look at least one lab called the stress, mood, and metabolism test. And the reason why I want to look at that is elevated levels of cortisol and lower levels of thyroid. because lower levels of thyroid can lead to this poor circulation as well as elevated levels of cortisol. So I like to work on that. Another thing that can help, at least from a symptomatic perspective, is something called EWATs. I don't know that I've ever done a full show yet on it, but I will. If you go to highperformancehealth.org/resources, highperformancehealth.org/resources, you'll see something called EWAT, EWOT. And what it does is allows somebody to breathe in basically pure oxygen to dilate the capillaries, bring more oxygen in the blood plasma, and at least temporarily give that person circulatory effect back into the hand. So hopefully this gave you a place to get started. Again, you can go to stevencabral.com/Raynaud/podcast, type in Rated, you'll get some more information as well. I appreciate everybody tuning into today's show. Thank you so much. Again, I really do appreciate this audience, our community. Hopefully I get to see many of you this October at the Reimagining Health Summit. If you don't know anything about it, I definitely recommend checking it out. Go to thereimagininghealthsummit.com. Take care, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow answering more of our community's questions. I want to sincerely thank you for your support of this podcast. I couldn't do it without you, and I mean that. I truly do. I also want to make sure you knew that we now have multiple ways for you to find your answers to the most difficult health, wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging questions. You can find podcast-specific topics like thyroid, adrenal, hormones, sleep, digestion, Ayurveda, and many more at stevencabral.com/podcasts that will then link you to your favorite Apple, Spotify, and other podcast players. Plus, all new podcasts and weekly exclusive video content is being added to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Stephen Cabral. And that's Stephen with a PH. Head on over and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the exclusive content. Lastly, if you've ever found any of my podcasts or books to be helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a review on iTunes or your favorite media player for the podcast. Rating and subscribing to the YouTube and podcast allow me to reach more and more people and help spread my mission of healing throughout the world. Thank you again for being a part of this movement.